All right, let's take a look and see how much Al and Peggy need for life insurance. According to the notes I found, Al was 41, Peggy was 39. Kelly and Bud, their ages never really changed as one of those shows, and it wasn't consistent. The best I could find was Kelly was 15 and Bud was 14. Um, as far as Al is concerned, he worked at the Gary's shoe store, and from what I found, his salary was 12,500. Adjusted for inflation, it's around 23,000. I don't think you're going to find anybody who works for that these days, so let's just bump him up to 31,200, 15 an hour, and he probably would work at a place like Foot Locker. So Foot Locker does have a work policy in place for employees based on their salary. So I'm guessing it would be his work policy would be at least $31,200. As far as the character Al, I don't think he really cares what happens when he dies. More than likely, if he got a policy, it would be behind his back somehow. Peggy would probably get one on him and take him out. But let's say she did that. How much would she get if she just wanted to cover the funeral costs and the house? The house at the time was worth $200,000. Today it's worth around $500,000. It's pretty impressive, making 31.2 to afford 500,000 a house. But hey, it was a good show. As far as debt, I can't imagine them having that much debt because just because Mal was always complaining about money, so I don't know if they would be able to take on debt. But let's just say it's $10,000. So Peggy took out a policy on Al. 511,000 was what she would need to cover the basic expenses and have the house paid off, minus the work policy. So she'd need $480,000. And for that would be an Al. I would say he was a preferred plus. He never went to the doctor. I don't think he took any medications, no chronic illnesses. Didn't smoke. His height, weight looked good. I'm guessing his background's pretty clean. So we'll do a search for $480,000. 30 years, it comes back with $50.61. For 20 years, 28.86. I think if Peggy were to take one out, it would probably be higher, just so she could take him out. And if Al took one out on Peggy, let's just say he wanted to cover the cost of the funeral and the house and take care of whatever debt he's got. Clean start for Al. If he took her out, he would need around $511,000 to accomplish all those goals. She is a smoker, then that's going to count against her with most insurance carriers. So that's going to jack up the prices. So for Peggy, for $512,000 for 30 years, it's around $142.12. For 20 years, it would be $96.85. What I would imagine these characters doing, if they did do that to each other, they'd probably get the shortest period possible, maybe a 10, and then take each other out. But next up is Dan and Roseanne. That should be a fun one too.